welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are decoding something that literally affects almost every single one of us in the modern world. We're diving deep into the hidden psychology behind why we just can't seem to stop spending, and how our own minds actually trap us in this cycle of digital conditioning that, honestly, most people completely ignore. It's a super fascinating journey into human behavior, so let's jump right in.
So, you know that sudden electric rush right at the exact moment you click buy now? Or when you walk out of a store carrying that crisp brand new bag? For like 5 seconds, everything feels absolutely perfect. The stress completely fades, the boredom just disappears, and you feel this incredible sense of power you didn't have just 5 minutes ago. But then, as you walk to your car, or you close that browser tab, the high starts to evaporate. And what's left behind? Just this cold, heavy sense of guilt or emptiness. Well, as we'll see, psychology tells us this isn't just a simple lack of discipline or just loving shopping. It's way deeper than that.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the dopamine spending loop, the treadmill of consumption, buying external validation, spending as a shield, and finally, rewiring your financial identity. Part 1, the dopamine spending loop, the biology of the hunt. To really get why spending hooks us, we have to talk about variable reward reinforcement. Sounds super academic, right? But it's basically a mechanism where rewards are totally random and unpredictable, which keeps your mind in this constant state of alert anticipation. And what's wild is, this is the exact same psychological trick casino slot machines use to keep players hooked. In the world of spending, the real reward actually isn't the item itself. It's the thrill, the pure possibility of owning it.
So picture the cycle in action. You're scrolling online and your brain is scanning for a deal, maybe a trend or a new release. That's the hunt. When you finally find something, you get the discovery, which releases this massive burst of dopamine. Then comes the purchase, giving you the ultimate rush. But inevitably, we hit evaporation. The dopamine completely crashes and the guilt sets in, usually right around the time that credit card statement hits your inbox. You see, you aren't actually shopping for a product. You're shopping for a feeling of discovery and quick relief from stress. And over time, your brain just learns that spending is the absolute fastest way to get that relief.
Moving on to section 2, the treadmill of consumption, chasing a ghost. Now, this brings us to a seriously frustrating concept called hedonic adaptation. Basically, your brain gets used to any form of pleasure until it just kind of loses its meaning. This perfectly explains why when you buy that brand new phone or that crazy expensive jacket, it feels incredible at first. But within days, or literally hours sometimes, the novelty wears off completely. The item that made you feel so special just becomes another ordinary object sitting in your house. When you break down the reward, it's pretty eye-opening. The vast majority of the thrill is just that alert anticipation. The actual joy of ownership, that's just a tiny fraction of the overall experience. Because your brain adapts so quickly to that previous level of pleasure, you find yourself constantly running on this treadmill of consumption. Suddenly you need something bigger, better, and way more expensive just to feel the exact same high the next time. You are quite literally chasing a ghost of a feeling that your brain is biologically designed to discard as soon as it becomes familiar. Okay, section 3, buying external validation, the social mirror. For a lot of us, spending is heavily fueled by this deep-seated need for external validation. In a world that constantly rewards attention, we use money to buy an illusion, a version of ourselves that we desperately hope others are going to admire. Psychologically, this happens when a person's self-worth is negotiable, when it's dependent on the opinions of everyone else. They buy the car or the clothes or the lifestyle not because they truly enjoy them, but because they need a social mirror to tell them they actually matter. But the reality, it's just an emotional gap. We try to fill a void linked to a lack of secure self-esteem with material objects. And getting stuck in that cycle of social comparison, constantly measuring your life against a curated digital illusion, it only drives up your anxiety and the urge to spend even more just to keep up. Let's hit section 4, spending as a shield, emotional self-protection. When the world feels unpredictable or overwhelming, the brain naturally craves a sense of control. Buying something, that provides an immediate, tangible result that you can see and touch. It's a small dopamine reward that makes you feel like you've achieved something, even if you haven't moved an inch toward your real goals. And this often acts as a coping mechanism for some pretty deep emotional triggers, like stress or childhood trauma. For instance, people who had to be responsible way too early, kids who basically grew up too fast, they often heavily associate self-reliance with strength. As adults, when they feel emotionally unfulfilled or unheard, they might self-soothe through spending. If you struggle to ask for help or rely on others, a new purchase honestly feels like a reliable, tangible friend when real human relationships feel totally inconsistent. Finally, Section 5, rewiring your financial identity, breaking the loop. So, the absolute core issue here is identity misalignment. Your brain is this incredibly highly evolved survival tool, and it is specifically designed to resist any action that doesn't match how you see yourself. If you secretly believe you're someone who's always broke, or that people like you just don't save money, your mind will actually, subconsciously, sabotage your discipline. You'll find yourself overspending the second you have extra cash, simply because your brain is trying to bring your reality back in line with your old, comfortable self-image. You might be addicted to the potential of who you could be, but totally terrified of the effort required to actually change. But here's the really empowering part: cognitive reflection. If you recognized yourself in these patterns today, it absolutely does not mean you're broken or lack intelligence. It simply means your nervous system adapted to pressure in a way that prioritizes quick relief over long-term peace. The very fact that you're analyzing your own behavior right now, that shows a level of cognitive reflection that most people literally never reach. This is your crucial first step from constant mindless consumption to true self-awareness. Healing from the dopamine loop doesn't mean you can never buy anything fun ever again. It just means learning that your worth is non-negotiable and that your peace thrives in privacy, not in purchases. Once you align your identity with your actual financial goals and realize you don't need to be seen to feel seen, that dopamine loop completely loses its power over your life. So I want to leave you with this thought to ponder today. If you stop letting your purchases speak for you, what will your thoughts say instead? Remember, your future isn't defined by what you buy. It's defined by how you choose to think. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep decoding the psychology around you.